I'm casting the FNCS Pro-Am, and I am so happy to be a part of it, including that every team has now been announced. We knew leaks have happened with Clicks and Lacey, Peterbot and Faxity, and even Pollo and Jinxie, but what other teams have just been included? Where are they dropping? Also in this video, we're breaking down the newest roster mania for FNCS Major 2 that's right around the corner. There's lots to talk about, so let's get right into the mix. The Pro-Am is here, and shout out to Faxity putting on a show to announce each and every one of these teams. Great opportunity for Faxity, and they announced them one by one and almost player by player, the pro first, and then what creator they are paired with. And as we break down these teams, keep in mind, I feel like there's a whole different way you need to look at the Pro-Am this time around. Last year, it was a huge spectacle. Pros from Fortnite, creators from Fortnite. This time around, it feels a little bit more community-based in the sense of the pros will be the pros, but the creators are more of the influencers in the streaming hemisphere, not just locked into Fortnite. So keep that in mind. But first up, we got Peterbot and Faxity. We know exactly where this team lands in terms of everybody here, and they are one of the best teams in terms of the Pro-Am. Faxity consistently playing the zone wars with other pro players, but playing with Peterbot himself, this is where I have that question mark. Last year, he won it with Aussie Antics, the big spectacle, wanting to win it all. This year, since it is a little bit smaller, Peterbot himself said he doesn't know how serious he's going to take it unless he lands on Clicks. Check this one out.
Okay, listen, I'll play, but we have to land on Clicks. If we're not landing on Clicks, I'm not playing.
Here, what? Bro, Peter,
Okay.
bro, what are we doing, man?
It's low-key valid, I feel like.
Bro, he's
Bro,
not gonna
thing
land
is-
on us.
Thing is, like,
He
I'm
knows
trying to
what
have,
it is.
I'm trying to have fun, and I don't think this tournament's like, you don't get like a trophy or anything, so I'm not gonna take it that serious.
Yes, you
Like,
do,
No, you don't.
That makes sense.
bro.
Like, bro, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my-
this is just a for fun
Yeah.
tourney, bro. Like, we
No,
might
I
as well just
understand,
land on Clicks,
100%.
no? Yeah.
And me and Guapo already talked, and we're also gonna land on Clicks.
How are you?
So, with this in mind, this makes me think maybe Peterbot and Faxity will not win the Pro-Am. They are good. Maybe things will change when the pressure is on, and there's money per win as well as overall in the leaderboard. So, I do think they are the best team there, but it all depends on how serious Peterbot actually takes it. Next up, Pollo and Jinxie. Jinxie has been playing a little bit more Fortnite as of recently, but if you look at Jinxie compared to some of the other creators we'll continue to talk about, I'm not sure the skill is there. This is going to be Pollo trying his hardest to clutch up. I think it's been more towards consistency than game wins themselves. Next up, though, Clicks and Lacey. Again, this has to be one of the other favorites. I mentioned Peterbot and Faxity. Clicks and Lacey has to be the other one. Big question marks here, though, for me is Peterbot, will he land on Clicks? What type of a drop spot will Clicks and Lacey land at? And I do like this team to perform better than they did last year, because last year Lacey wasn't really playing Fortnite. This time around, he's playing with ARC, trying to qualify for Major 2 finals, so he is putting reps in the game. So I think as long as Clicks and Lacey play with winning in mind versus content, I think they could be a threat to the overall first place on the leaderboard. Next up on the list, though, is Cold and Ash Alk. I'm trying to do as much research on some of these creators as possible, how much Fortnite they've played. We know when it comes to preparing for tournaments, Cold does not really touch the game. Last year's Pro-Am did prove it. Curb was trying his hardest to get Cold on, but Cold just really didn't give him the time of day. Now he's playing with Ash Alk, and the little bit of footage that I've saw of Ash Alk, he's, you know, more of a casual style gamer. I didn't see him really edit any builds, and it just didn't really look pretty. Even though we know Cold to be one of the best fraggers in the game, most of the mechanically skilled, he's going to be in a very similar situation as Pollo, except for Jinxie actually plays. So I'm not sure how good this team will do. We'll continue to look at the drop spots and make full predictions here at the end of this video. Next up is going to be Higgs and Braden. Again, I'm not sure Braden's history in the game. It looks like another solo team with Higgs really putting a lot of the pressure on himself to pull up big. But I wouldn't count some of these creators out. Depending on where they do land, depending on where they do drop, and how Reload actually plays, we could have ended up in a scenario where we do have at least one surprise team with the creator that doesn't really touch Fortnite. Next up, RD Moon and Sphinx. I remember I saw a clip going around, I do believe it was him, of Fortnite going into his channel, asking him to play the Pro-Am, inviting him in. I'm not sure his familiarity with the game, but Sphinx is one of the better IGLs right now in Fortnite. So if I do want to see anybody paired up with somebody that doesn't necessarily play, I will think Sphinx is a good job. I want to see them kind of put some reps in. I do see them not necessarily performing that well because, again, there are some better creator pro duos in this mix. Sorry, Sphinx. Love you as a person. Think you're incredible as a player, but in this competition, I don't think it's going to be your best tournament. Next up, though, Rapid and Typical Gamer. This is one I'm very, very excited to see. This year, Rapid has been on a tear. He has EWC spot secured, qualified for the Summit LAN. Unfortunately, him and Cold fell short, and we'll talk about their actual duo ship later in this video. But for this one, Typical Gamer is one of the creators that actually does play the game, and he did take Peterbot down in the last Pro-Am, so I do kind of have them high up there. We'll look at the drop map and predictions later, but this is a team I'm definitely going to have my eye on to possibly win it all. Next up is another one of those teams, and people might look at me sideways. This one might be a little bit of a hot take, but Muzz and Somerset. This is a team I'm super excited to see. During the Clicks Icon series, Somerset and Oliver OG did play together and won it all, and I do think they had tougher competition in the overall Twitch Rivals Clicks Icon series than they do have here. And now you have Muzz, somebody I think that doesn't get enough credit. I guess there's, you know, Peterbots, there's Clixes, there's Higgs, there's other big names that I think kind of overshadow him, but I do think Muzz deserves more than enough credit. This is a team, without even looking at the drop map, I'm gonna think they are going to get top 5 in the Pro-Am this weekend. Let me know what you guys think about Muzz and Somerset, but I'm very high up on them, and I think they can perform well. Next up, another team. We got 3 back-to-back teams that I think can perform possibly good enough to get top 5, and that's going to be Reet and Frantic. They've already claimed their drop spot. We'll look at that as we break down the actual predictions, but for Reet and Frantic, they played together in Zone Wars, they played together in Divisional Cups or Duo Cash Cups in the past, so I do think they have that chemistry. It's just a matter if they're going to be uncontested versus contested. If they are uncontested, I see them in the top 5 instantly as one of those teams to beat. Also depends on how serious they'll take it, but I do think both Reet and Frantic do want to win. There is prize money on the line, and I do think they're one of the teams that are taking it serious, just like our next one. Back to back to back to back contenders now that we're talking about in Cooper and Zemi. They were one in last year's Pro-Am. Everybody thought they could possibly win it all outside of Peterbot, Ozzy, and a few others, and I think going into this Pro-Am, they're going to have that same respect on their name. Cooper and Zemi, they play a solid game. Their chemistry actually works well for these Pro-Ams, and Zemi actually does play a lot of Fortnite. It might be more zero builds than actual builds, but this is a team that I think if you don't have them in your top 5 right now, you are crazy, and I'm not sure I can trust your opinion in Fortnite going forward. But another one coming up, Kanata and Arky. I don't know how much Arky plays. I did see Kanata play one of these. I think it was Lacey hosted one a long time ago, and he played with Jason the Ween. They performed very well. They even won a game. It did come down to heal off. It was Fortnite OG, but they played well. I think this is going to rely on how calm, cool, collected Kanata can play, but I don't see them in the top 5 at all. But maybe we'll change our minds once we get to the drop map portion of this. Victor V and Crackley, though, next up. Crackley is a huge Fortnite content creator. Primarily plays zero builds, but he's not a stranger to builds himself. Victor V, probably the best up-and-comer as of now, getting the chance to play with Queasy. We're going to talk about them later, and I do think this is his moment. Maybe not necessarily in the Pro-Am, won't be make or break for him, but playing with Crackley, I think this is a team that could surprise a lot of people, and this is our NA West representation, so you definitely got my bias going on over towards Victor V and Crackley. Next up, Rise and A2 Guapo. Don't know much about A2 Guapo, especially when it comes to him playing Fortnite, but Rise is somebody that he's been one of the best IGLs. But going into this one, I think this might be a full content duo. I'm not sure how much pressure Rise wants to put onto himself to perform, so I think we're going to see a lot of great moments out of these guys. but not necessarily when it comes to Fortnite itself. Booga and Yugi coming up. Booga just qualified for the Esports World Cup, and well, I think that's where the great things for it's going to end in terms of the Pro-Am. I'm not sure Yugi's actual skill in terms of Fortnite, but I just do think there's better pro players and content creator duos, especially when we look at the drop map soon. This will include Iamzo and Yusuf. No matter how good Iamzo is, there's just better pairings. Yusuf isn't necessarily the best player when it does come to Fortnite, and I think there's better mainstream creators that we're going to talk about soon, including Veno and former FNCS champion Stable Ronaldo. These guys, you know, it's going to throw me in a loop. They played together for Division 3, did not work out for it, and as soon as Stable Ronaldo heard that he's playing with Veno, he wasn't necessarily happy. He thinks he's going to get yelled at. I think playing with Veno comes with a ton of pressure, especially if he doesn't necessarily look at you as that player that he can necessarily learn from. So this one's going to be a very, very interesting duo. Even has me scratching my head right now. I think it's going to be full content after Game 2, after Game 3, if they realize they don't have a chance to win. If they realize that. I do think they could potentially do well, though. Veno just came off an FNCS championship win in North America. Stable Ronaldo getting back into the game, getting more reps. They could be a threat. I'm just not sure they're there yet. Next up, though, is I think the most surprising pairing in terms of where I think they'll place overall is Acorn and Muda. Muda has a ton of accusations coming from wildly different games, from Rust to Mecha Chameleon. I think he's just clip farming a lot of these scenarios. Some might be true, but he's paired with Acorn, one of the best IGLs in the game. And I actually had a chance to see Muda play against Faxity 1v1, and he was actually moving a lot better than I thought. He's obviously not on the skill level of some of our pros, of some of our creators like Faxity, even Lacey, but I do think this team is going to be one that surprises. I think that the worst that they're going to place is 10th overall, kind of halfway on the leaderboard, but I do think they could threaten for a top spot. A team that, you know, NA West representation coming up, Bolts and Primate Page, you know, as good as Bolts is, not being the IGL, being the main fragger, and then being paired with somebody that really doesn't have it when it comes to Fortnite. I think this is going to be one of those lobby-filling teams. Hopefully, they get great content moments. Hopefully, Bolts is able to kind of slay out and get some clutch moments. But other than that, I'm not sure what their chances of getting into the money actually is. Ritual and Richie. We got Team Richie Rich. Again, another one of those scenarios where I'm not sure Richie has played a ton of Fortnite. I'm more than happy to be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if you guys know something I don't. But he's paired with Ritual. Ritual is a calm, cool, and collected type player. If things go wrong, I think he's going to be very, very forgiving, and I think that's one of those aspects in a tournament like this that can make or break a team. But again, just like some of the other duos I talk about, I think the odds are stacked against them. Former teammate of Ritual, we'll get to that later, Ager's going to teamed up with Hammy P. Not sure much about Hammy P and his Fortnite skill, but when it comes to Agers, I do have a lot of belief they can do well. As we look at what we know of the drop map so far, though, we got Higgs and Braden contesting Clicks and Lacey. I think this helps Clicks and Lacey a ton, especially if Braden isn't necessarily that well. They have the potential to wipe them off the map out of the gates if they do want to take the fight to them. Maybe we could see that early in Game 1, Game 2, but overall, I think this works for Clicks and Lacey, especially if they're down points, having to make a late tournament run. They could potentially farm out Braden, get him to respawn a bunch, and get their points that way. Kanata, Arky are going to be landing just west of them, uncontested, along with Veno and Ronaldo just east of them, also uncontested. At Chiseled Cubes, though, we got Victor V and Crackley versus Ree and Frantic. This is the fight, off-spawn fight, the main one that I'm excited to see. Two fully capable duos going at it straight off-spawn. I do feel like I got to give the edge to Ree and Frantic in this, but Victor V is somebody you don't want to mess with off spawn, especially if you can reboot, you can go elsewhere on the map, maybe pick off one of those other teams elsewhere. But that's going to be it for our contested fights. Top tier training, Faxi, Peterbot, uncontested. Muzz and Somerset south of that, also uncontested. Bolts and Page, a little bit of a split drop, uncontested. Then you got Sphinx and Raw Dog Moon, along with Acorn and Muda at Elite Army. They are contested, but I don't look at this contested drop. Just like EWC with Muzz and Sphinx, Acorn and Bolts, you could split this drop out. You can go your two separate ways. It is a big POI where you can get a ton of loot. On the left side, though, of the map, Elite Experiments, you got Coop Cooper and Zemi. Obviously, there's some spots missing in this drop map, but I would think Faxity and Peterbot, if he takes it super serious, will be the favorites to win. Then I would think Muzz and Somerset. I would put either Reet and Frantic, Victor, and Crackley, the next best team, whoever wins those spots more often than not, inside of the top 5, as well as Clicks and Lacey. There's some of my predictions right there. So I think Faxity, Peterbot win it all, even if they don't land on Clicks and Lacey, depending on how hard he actually tries. As a content team or a trying team, I got Faxity, Peterbot. Then I got Muzz and Somerset probably taking second. We got Cooper and Zemi probably in the top 3 there. Then we got Reet and Frantic, Victor V and Crackley would probably kind of round out our top 5 if they don't actually fight each other off spot. I would also throw Rapid and Typical Gamer in the mix. I don't think I missed anybody, but this drop map is incomplete, so I could have missed out on one of our big name teams, but so far I don't think I did. We got Peterbot, Faxity, Clicks, Lacey, Muzz, Somerset, Rapid, Typical Gamer, Cooper, and Zemi. And I think one of the 2 teams of Reet, Frantic, Victor V, and Crackley are going to round out our top side of the leaderboard. Let me know in the comments below when it comes to the Pro-Am, who are your guys' top 5. Now that we talked about the Pro-Am and I mentioned some leaks about teams splitting up, former duos, let's get right into roster mania. With FNCS Major 2 right around the corner, teams have very, very limited time to get it together. They use the summer break as a moment to reassess, breathe, and then come back stronger. Veno and Clicks have split up. It's now Veno and Agers playing together. Clicks probably realizing along with Veno it might not have worked out the first time around. They can't repeat that same success. Clicks was talking about there's just a ton of pressure, not able to play like himself, not able to play with freedom. Clicks and Higgs have reunited for the last dance, and I think this team has gotten better since the last time we saw them. I think they're going to be playing with a ton less pressure, and I think that was the biggest fault that they had in their first go around. Veno is going to be playing with Agers, and I think the Veno Clicks combination, this one is just that much better. I think there's a little bit more confidence that Veno's going to have in Agers. I don't think there's going to be the same type of pressure that Agers is feeling. I just hope it works out for the best. These are 2 great players, and they could potentially threaten for a global championship spot and the major championship. Next up, we talked about Higgs playing with Clicks. That means Higgs and Curve are no longer together. Rapid and Curve have formed as a team. They are going to be taking the Sanctuary spot. That means Cold has been left out in the open. He already left for Ritual. That means Agers of Ritual. We know they're split up. So we got Veno and we got Agers. We got Clicks and we got Higgs. We got Rapid and we got Curve. We got Cold and we got Ritual. And so we got a lot of teams continuing to form with the new roster mania. Let me know, what is your favorite team so far? But I think every team here so far has had an upgrade except for maybe Rapid and Curve. Curve is going to get a new chance, especially with Rapid's hot success. Cold is now playing with Ritual, former teammates that have had a little bit of success. So I think every team was maybe an upgrade except for Cold, Ritual, Rapid, and Curve. And I don't think it's a downgrade. I just don't think they got necessarily better than they were before. Every team has their reason for splitting up. A bunch of poor results as of recently. And just because EWC has a lot of these teams locked, like Cold and Rapid are playing together, you know, so they can't split up. You had Kanat and Victor V split up. So now that EWC is over, I think the focus for a lot of these teams, especially the ones that didn't qualify, is now Major 2, the last chance, solo FNCS, and the Global Championship. There's a huge stacked end of the year that you guys don't want to miss, and let me know in the comments below which duo you're super excited for, and which do you think is going to have the best chance to qualify for the Global Championship. But that's going to do it for this video. Pro-Am teams locked in, drop spots still being filled out. It is this weekend. Don't want to miss. FNCS roster mania has struck in. There's so much Fortnite to end the year. It has me so excited, and I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel. We're over 3,000 subs, so keep on subscribing, liking, and comment. It really does help the channel grow, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Honk, honk. I mean, beep, beep.